Hello everyone and welcome. This is Angelina and I would like to welcome you and thank you for joining us here today for the Smada World Opportunity webinar offered by Next Level Africa. We have a few bits of information to pass on to you regarding the exchanges and the new C-Wallet today. And we will also be including a general of where we are at with NLA overall with the line upgrades and renewals. And yes, we will be having the Q&A at the end where you are welcome to ask any questions covering all the things that we've talked about. Remember though, please hold all questions and comments until that time. And another just point to cover is please keep your questions as straightforward and clear as absolutely possible so that we're not left guessing, wondering what, trying to interpret your question. We would appreciate that. So now I would like to say again a big thank you to everyone joining us here again today from various parts of the world and in many time zones. We so appreciate your attendance and participation. Now with that, it gives me great pleasure to introduce to you our presenter for today, Mr. Noel Adams, the founder of Next Level Africa and our CEO and leader of the Smada team. Welcome, Noel.
Thanks, Angelina, and welcome everybody. I'm sitting here still getting as much information as I can from our various participants around the globe who are working on this. You can't see what's going on, but there's certainly quite a bit of work happening in the background on this. We'll see what we finish up with. You may notice that the exchange is down at the moment, CEX I'm talking about. The last time I looked, because they're busy with it, getting the coordinates connected there with the wallets and trying to synchronize things out there. So all of the technical things they need for checking on what's going on with the exchange to bring it into play. I'm just doing a bit of a check myself. It's still down, so that's a good sign because they're working on it. The new wallet, look, they've been close to having that completed, but some of the things you can't factor in, they've had some personal technical issues because we are working between the UK, Japan, South Africa, and the US, and for some reason everyone has to be available to coordinate this thing, and some of the things that go wrong, it's you know, if somebody were to write this up and put into a play, they'd only imagine that the script writer's got quite an imagination, because you just can't script this type of stuff out there. South Africa, inside of 2 weeks, have had 2 thefts on their power cables. It seems that the section of the community break into the power station and steal the electrical cable, and it puts them out of action there. And that happened about a week and a half ago and happened yesterday again. So they were delayed. We had our Japanese section of Jamie is over there. He's the developer of the wallets. He's had a brand new computer pack up on him, so he was down for a couple of days because they were almost close over the weekend at having it completed. And now it's gone to Los Angeles. The people that are over there look after, because there's different security levels in this. So when someone completes a job, it's handed over to another section, because one section can't go beyond a certain security level. So anyway, but look, it's definitely happening out there, and once they complete this wallet upgrade, then we'll be able to get the new wallets out. But we'll talk about that when it happens, and direct members to what they need to do. So just bearing that in mind, I would make sure you've got a backup of your wallets, and if you've got a backup, it's going to last for some time. You don't have to keep backing them up all the time. Once we complete that, we'll then be able to to get the wallet onto the blockchain. As I mentioned before, look, I paid for that some 6 weeks ago, so I'm just as anxious to get this wallet completed so we can get it onto the blockchain and get things moving from that. The other thing is too that because I've had this issue with South Africa as well, it's holding up line 6, but now we're back on target with that, and we just have a few people that we need to contact to make sure that they're still with us or they're away. So there's probably some positions there in line 6 because we have the promo positions that we've got to complete those as well. And in some cases we had technical issues where people were supplying us with the double email addresses, and the e-commerce wasn't recognizing it, and so they've had to manually go through all of that. So there's been quite a bit of a challenge there on some of the things, and I get on a roll with South Africa, and the next thing they've got no power. The last one, when it went out, well, not the one from last night, but before, went for 4 days. So we had them, they were on generators trying to work, and I thought, don't tell me they've another lot of that, but they're back up and running now, so it may not have been as big a breach as the last one. So, and I'm expecting line 7 to come in any time, so we'll be working on that. So all I'm saying is, look, we are doing everything we can to get this completed, and working on where we are with it, and some of the technical and just issues that come up. As I said, you can't factor them in. It's just, I guess it's because we are human, and these are the sort of things that happen. Look, just in our own team there, and I want to commend both Karen and Angelina that had to take a bit of time out, but still trying to do whatever they could out there, and so we had a little bit of a delay on things that we were trying to do. I didn't realise how much I rely on both those ladies when they're not there. So that's why we had a bit of an issue with the last webinar out there. So that's hopefully going to be corrected on this one. So look, it just happens. You can't factor these things into anything out there, and we just run with it, and so that's where we are. We're also looking at getting the debit card into the exchange once that's completed, because as I mentioned before, we have now taken over the full operation of the exchange. When I say the full operation, just to clear that up, we look after the servers on the exchange, and the bank look after the security in the exchange, and they manage the asset account. So just so that you know that, because the bank is still 100% behind the asset account, managing that, because I'd rather that out there, because there's no need for anyone to worry that someone's going to take off with the money, because it's there and managed by the bank, and there's security. So anything that they need in the security aspect, they certainly get onto it. I've just paid quite a bit of money now to have the security upgraded in CX. Both of them get done together, CX and GX, but I pay all the expenses in CX, so I know that's all being paid for, and it's all being implemented into the system now. So having said that, you can appreciate that what we've got going out there, it's very unusual for a company to own as much of the operations on what you're running there, because we have our own currency, we own the program. So once it is completed, we've really got something special that really won't be able to be duplicated anywhere out there. So once the globe knows about that, we certainly will have a lot of interest coming in on it. Well, look, that's really all the information I've got, and as I said, I'm still getting bits and pieces coming in from my developer in South Africa. They had virtually the full night. They're running off generators and things, and they can't run the full capacity when they're running off generators. They've got other business they do besides us as well, the programmers. So they're just getting back up to speed now. It's heading towards midnight over in South Africa, and they link in with Japan very shortly. Japan will come online probably over there in the next 3 or 4 hours. So that they actually get out of bed at 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning, their time in South Africa, to link in with Japan to get the the final updates and just make sure that everything's been done that they wanted to have put in place. The project manager from the bank has his assistant that looks after all this. So we, we find that it's just one of those things out there that everyone has to report back to people. So if someone's finding me a little bit quieter, then maybe adjust your own sound, bring it up, because I've got mine set on the highest I can set it on. So if someone's having trouble hearing me out there, I'd suggest to look at your own sound to lift it up. Anyway, look, that's where we are with that. Now, there is something that's just cropped up in the last few days, and I want to bring people up to speed and give them the reasons why we look at having add-ons to what we're doing. And in this case, you may have seen some mention, and we've had many members join a program called WebTalk. Now, WebTalk started to be developed back in 2010, so you can see that it can be a delay when you start to developing things, because remember this, that the same as Next Level Africa, this is not a shelf product. We're building it as we go. It's been purposely built for what we need, so it's not something that you can go and just get it off a shelf. And so when you get programmers building it, you change it as you go. And I believe that WebTalk, they're up around the $7 million they've spent on WebTalk, and it's the idea behind it is it's going to be going toe to toe with sites like Facebook, and this is more of a business structure than a social structure. If you looked at Facebook, I guess that Facebook, and I'm just using rough figures out there, but you'll understand what I'm saying, is probably 70+% social, people posting their holiday pics, their family pics, and just things in general, and then the rest of it is made up in some sort of business format and just other odds and ends. Whereas with WebTalk, they're probably 70+% business, and then they run into obviously the social things where you can post all your holiday pics, family pics, and all that type of stuff. Now, one of the reasons that I've had a closer look at this, and incidentally, it was sent to me by one of our very, very trusted members out there. I have been reading about WebTalk. I mean, I do get a lot of things that come across my desk that I look at, and believe in me, I'm very selective with what I decide to introduce and bring into our mix out there. But the concept behind it is that for those members that have already registered with WebTalk, you will notice out there that they're still in beta test. They've been in beta test now for about 4 months. At the beginning of October, they had 800,000 registered members, and in the last 3 or 4 days, depends where you are in the world, I guess, to talk on time factor, they're now up around the over 900,000. So 100,000 sign-ups in the last probably 3 or 4 days. Now, why it's important for us. It's a very, very large community that we will be able to expose the cryptocurrency and Next Level Africa within this community, because it just means that we will be able to look at doing advertising, because they're looking at having the same sort of clientele as Facebook. They've spent $7 million to get where they are so far. So they're looking to have the same sort of clientele as Facebook. If that's the case, you put a figure on it. I mean, if they've hit 1 million members now, before they've launched officially on it, then once they do launch, because the payment structure, look, the reason on this for me personally is not necessarily the income coming from it, because nothing will ever compete with what we can earn through Next Level Africa and the things we do there. But by the same token, it's an area where we've got exposure to a large database, and in numbers in there, if we're putting posts in when we eventually go with the exchange and Next Level Africa, we can't advertise Next Level Africa in there at the moment because you can't register. And the beauty of Next Level Africa, the way it's been set up, that we have a single link. We have got a very, very large advertising budget that will come into play, and we want to place the dollars where we feel they'll do, you know, the best value for our dollar investment. And getting into a marketplace where we've got in excess of 10 and 100 million plus people in there, we can throw some serious money at it. And if people see some of the posts that we put out there, because it does allow a fair bit that we can post about incomes and stuff. Unlike Facebook, they're a little bit restrictive on what they allow you to do. And because in this particular one, you don't necessarily have to be a paid member to earn money on it, because there's a rev share program. So let's assume that you had whatever amount of personal contacts that you bring into it. You bring those contacts in, and if they spend time on the site, there's advertising revenue that comes from it. The advertisers pay for time being spent on there, which is shared with those members who you know, anyone that you bring in. So you may not be paying a monthly subscription, but you'll receive advertising revenue from the rev share program. So that in itself is quite handy out there. And then of course there's the monthly subscription that gives you a bit more access to some of the things in there, and that gives you another income stream as well. Now, what we're doing out there is that for those members that have received links, we've put in expressions of interest out there. We are sending out members links. This is not being sent out with just a single link on it, because it's a uni level. So with a uni level, look, it only goes down 5 levels. And one of the reasons I brought this forward for the members is that with this particular operation they have, the first 1 million paid subscribers in that system go on for life an income where they get paid down 5 levels. So you get paid from your first level down to your 5th level. So you can run as wide as you like on any of those levels, and you get paid to the 5th level. Once the 1,000,000th person pays their subscription on there, then anyone else who pays will only be paid on their first level. It's only your personal introductions and referrals that you will be paid for. There's other revenue streams that come into it, and there's, you know, it's really, if we look at it on Facebook, I mean, in this case, it's one of those programs you're getting paid to socialize. So if you just do your normal things in there, you will get paid because of the rev share program that goes on. So we do see it as something that's certainly worth our while to look at. Now, what's happening out there is that when we send a link out, on registering from the link that's been provided, we would like you to return to support your email with your landing page link, so that we can track the referrals. And you go into the track referrals in your back office, and you'll get your landing page. Remember, not your profile page, but your landing page. And Angelina has graciously pasted the email that we use for this. It's a dedicated email that we can separate it from our general support area, so we can find there's quite a bit of response coming in on it. And as I said, there's nothing to pay on this, and nothing to pay ever if you don't want to, but we just see it as a community, because look, eventually we are not going to be able to run the various Skype rooms. We're limited to how many people we can put into a Skype room. We're in some ways limited to what we can do through Facebook, and then we then have our email system that we use. So we're trying to come up with more of a communication system there that we can do at once. We don't particularly like having to put posts in half a dozen different places every time we put a post out there, and we can bring people up to speed a lot better if we've got something like this going, because anybody that has a computer can actually tune into this, and we all link together in there. And remember this, that as we look at it a little bit closer, we are in a position where we can do a lot of promotional activity with it, and because of just, well, I guess because of our resources that we will have through the Smada World and obviously Next Level Africa. So without mentioning what they are, we're going to look at some pretty serious promotional activity, and members will be more than pleased when they see what they are. Now, just to make sure that you understand, because there are some people that are members of the Web Talk already, and so that's fine out there, the NLA members, but the promotional activity that we will do will only be available to the members that are signed up in our group, if that makes sense. Because look, the company have the #1 position in this, and people being placed under the company. But what is going to happen from there is that we will be allocating the funds that come back in from that back into the system in some way. So it's not as though we are just looking to have a revenue collected. A lot of people think that we do this for that out there, but the last thing in the world I need is another revenue stream. This is all about getting exposure on where we are, so that we can get, just get our program out there so that the world can see what we're doing. But as I said, because this is all about the members building the system, and so any promotional activity we do will only be available to the people that are signed in under the NLA link, if that makes sense. Because outside of that, the community is not getting the benefit from it, and that's what's important. I'm not knocking anyone that's outside of our. If you feel comfortable, stay there. But all of the promotional activity is going to be for members within. And we've had a couple of members mention that they are already members of the Web Talk, but I would seriously consider, because it's still in beta test, there's nothing happening until we get the thing launched properly out there. So I would consider rejoining again, because look, they are going to be putting a debit card in there, so you'll have to do your KYC and just keeping an eye on what's going on. I've had a few people that have said to me that, look, come back and tell me, because they know about the program, come back and tell me that when it's running and give me a report on it. Well, I just want to make this very clear. I'm not doing that, because anybody can register on this now, free. There's no obligation. You don't get thrown out if you don't pay. So it's just the same as a Facebook, and all the information's there, because I don't know what floats everybody's boat out there. I mean, there might be certain aspects of it that someone thinks, well, that's what I want, but I'm not going back to anybody to tell them. So it's just a matter of, you know, getting these links. We're trying to coordinate it and trying to do a build with our community so that many members will receive the benefit of what we're doing in the. But look, because we're dealing in such a large volume out there, that it's going to be impossible to look after everybody in this, and that's why the promotional activity will come into it. And I'm looking to put in millions of dollars into this for promotional activity, so no one's going to miss out on what we're doing there. So anyone that's actually signed up into the system and have their own link, I would suggest to contact your circle of influence, because they can use this the same as you would with Facebook. The only difference being is you get paid to socialize in this, and so there's going to be some pretty serious dollars floating through this once people start to realize what it is. Well, look, because we've only been involved with it for really about 3 or 4 days now, we are still learning ourselves. We're trying to read things out there, and then there's certain information available through videos and things like that. So it's really just a matter of the member looking at it. And one of the things behind it is, look, we've been involved with social media now for a long time. There's probably not a lot that people have to be explained about it. It is what it is out there, and so Facebook has been there for such a long time, has become part of our world. I mean, people are, as soon as they get out of bed, they're checking their Facebook and seeing who's posted something on there. Families staying in touch with each other worldwide. Myself, I have my granddaughters that live about 700 kilometres from me, but it's as though they're next door, because I get to see the posts out there. So we've all become familiarised with using social media. But as I said in this one, 2 things: it gives NLA exposure out there, because look, once we announce our release out there, there is no program like what we're talking about, and we'll be able to talk to the owners of this, because they certainly will listen to us, and we might be able to even get our coin in there as something they may be interested in using as a payment structure. So that's the idea behind where I am with this. It's all about putting Next Level Africa out there, our coin out there, because as I said, it's the most unique coin in the marketplace, and this company will certainly understand the journey we've been on, because they've been there for 8 years. So they'll certainly understand we're just babies and been there for 5 years. So I certainly hope we're not there for 8 years waiting to get this completed. So anyway, but look, with that, I'm going to hand this back to Angelina, just to coordinate some of the Q&A. I'll answer what I can, but as I said, simply signing up on the web talk is going to give you the information you need, and then from that you'll have a link, and I would suggest to send that link out to your circle of influence, because if there's the sort of movement that's going on there now, and we're talking about 100,000 sign-ups in the last 3 or 4 days, it's only going to jump beyond that once it's live and people are earning dollars. So if you don't talk to your circle of influence, someone will, and that's what happens with it. And right now, that if the networkers get onto it, it's just going to go berserk with people wanting to sign up on there. So, and that's why I brought this forward, because of this payment structure, the compensation plan down 5 levels. It really is a bit like this with anything that we do out there. We're damned if we do, damned if we don't. But this is all about, I felt I had to do this to the members. I didn't want to say, right, we'll just wait and find that the million person is signed up and our members don't have an opportunity at all to capitalize on this. So that's why I thought we'd bring it forward and let members know. But just remember, this is all about promoting NLA and giving ourselves another income as well. So people can certainly look at doing income. We've already got people now that are certainly moving forward with and bringing in some large teams. Okay, look, I'll hand this back over to Angelina, and we'll answer any of the Q&A that we can deal with there. Thank you.
Thanks, Noel. That was terrific. A couple of things that I can see in our comments here. Marlene is saying, where is my referral link to be found, please? If you can hear a crow in the background, it's because I'm sitting outside on one of my last remaining days. It's going to be really nice to sit outside, so I apologize for the background. Anyway, Marlene, when you log into your account and you go and you see up the top banner, there's 3 little bars right over on the very right hand side. Click those bars, and at the very bottom it says track referrals. Well, when you click track referrals, that page comes up and you'll see profile link and landing page link. It's the landing page link that we want, please and thank you. Mary, if you've sent an email in, I'm going to I'll post it here again for you. I don't see your email requesting a link. So here is the email that you need to send in your request for referral link. Okay. And now, if you have any questions, please go ahead and type them. How do I get a revenue? Oh, okay. Sorry, I was jumping ahead. Please go ahead and type your questions in to the chat. And thanks, Tim. Good to hear that you have joined and you like it. Yeah, it's pretty interesting, actually. I can see how it's really blending the whole aspect of Facebook and LinkedIn, as well as Twitter as well. I don't use any of the other ones. How do I get, Phil is asking, how do I get a recommendation? Ha, I've been through that one. That one, you have to fill out your profile. There are certain steps that you need to take to fill out your profile, Phil. When you click up by where your profile picture is, or even click on your profile picture, click View Profile, and on the right-hand side, you'll see where it says Profile Completion, and it will tell you the percentage of how much your profile is completed or not. If you click on Complete Your Profile, it's highlighted in blue, it'll tell you the steps you need to complete in order to get to the part where you get a recommendation. Do that all of that first because I don't want to give you any more information, otherwise it's information overload. But that is what you have to do first. And we can get to the, if you still are confused on how you get the recommendation after you filled out your profile, we can certainly have you ask again. That'll keep you busy though, filling out your profile. At least it did me. Let's see. Oh, you're down to 15%. Okay, we'll keep going. Did I hear we had to send our referral link to support? Yes. Sorry, Noel, I'm kind of answering some of these questions. I'm going to jump it over to you in a second. Did I hear we had to send our referral? Nicole, yes. Send your landing page referral link to the support@smada.world. Okay, so we can track the referrals. Okay, thanks, James. I'm kind of, I'll see all of that. I can see the emails adding up though in the email. So Noel, I'm going to throw this back to you to be able to answer this one. The question is from Valerie. What is the advantage of getting a recommendation from NLA? Great question. And Noel, if you would be kind enough to answer this, and please continue, everyone, typing your questions in the chat. Thanks.
Okay, look, I'm just going back through them now. Look, I might deal with one of them there that's popped up from Alicia, and I'll just read this. Noel, is there a successor who will step in for you if, God forbid, and I hope that's the case as well, if anything happens to you? Well, look, yes, there is. I have 3 sons, and my youngest one, who very shortly is going to be celebrating his 40th birthday. He has been groomed and has been groomed. Remember this, I've been in business for over 50 years. I've been in business their entire lives. So they've been all groomed. All my sons work within a business structure. So they understand. We don't always agree on things out there, but my youngest son has been groomed for this, and he's quite an intelligent young man. So we do have that in place out there. There's certain things that I've put in place that can never be changed, because I don't want the NLA structure to ever change out there. And that's something that we want to make sure we protect the community on the effort that everyone's putting in to build this. Look, I think there were some questions put in before that as well. Just jumping in there. Look, I'll move on from there. If I miss any, we'll come back to them. I think, Marlene, that possibly been covered, your referral link, because if you go into track referrals, you'll see in there you've got 2 links. One's a profile link and one's a landing page link. The landing page link is the one that's got numbers after it. So if you just copy that and then send that back with your return email once you sign, so that we can record that and we can, because all sign-ups are now being handed over to members, and so we're sharing that with the member group out there. And look, you will find that there's, to my knowledge, there's no one doing this in this whole system. It puts a lot of work on there for us, but we are a community that likes to share out there. We started off doing it this way, so we're going to continue doing it. So anyway, with those links that you're putting in there, just send them to support. That way it can be documented in support there, and Angelina looks after that. I also too want to, which I look, with everything that's going on, I do want to congratulate Okay. Because of the many hats that a lot of us have been forced to wear, and many things happening out there in our operation and what we're trying to do. And remember this, that Angelina has been part of this since the beginning, for 5 years. She's been absorbing everything that goes on there. So Angelina has been moved up the ladder quite substantially in the Smada World operation out there. Angelina has been appointed as General Manager. Now, it still means that she's still involved with other aspects, but she'll be training a lot of people to take over from that, because Angelina will be in charge of major projects and everything will run through Angelina out there. I allow her to have the call on it. I have input into it, but I certainly don't overrule something out there. And so Angelina has the responsibility of making sure this. Look, it's a bit like this, that I'm the ideas person. I come up with the ideas, but that doesn't get us to where we need to be. It has to be formulated, and Angelina's quite good at that, into getting it done in such a way that we have it coordinated. So that's, look, I forgot to mention that. So congratulations there, Angelina, and we are certainly in good hands with Angelina out there and running it. Okay, I think Angelina's dealt with that. Mary, you requested a link, and incidentally, we've got quite a few there now that have come in, and we're just making sure that they're done in a correct way, and making sure that people, because when we send a link off, we want to double check that that person has actioned the link, so that the person we've sent their link out, we want to make sure that they get the sign up. Yeah, Tim's saying he's joined and he likes it. Well, look, I think you'd have to be hard to please if you didn't like what's going on with the web tool. I think, Phil, that Angelina covered the recommendation. You'll see that come up when you fill in your profile. You've got to fill in a fair bit of your profile. I suggest everyone gets into doing that. And look, people have been sending me a request for recommendation. I will try and get through them, but look, I've probably got about 30 that have been sent to me, and you need to write a bit of a blurb on each one that you do. It's not just a question of ticking it. So if I haven't come back to people that have requested a recommendation, not because I don't want to, it's just because I'm off doing other things. So I would suggest that you do a couple, send it out to a couple of people, because you only need one recommendation. And so if you get it out to a couple of people, you will certainly get your recommendation back. But it's time factor for me. I'm just time poor at the moment. Nicole, your dog was barking. Okay, all right, well, that's what they do, and they do that best. I used to call my dog, the bark was the doorbell, really. That bark would tell you who was at the door. But yes, send your link. It's the landing page link. Send that to support so we can record it in there. We do want to share the sign-ups. I won't be doing any personal sign-ups now. Everything will be shared with the members. So that's where we are with it. James has sent his referral page, and as I said, if everyone just, you need to read, and if we're getting revenue share by being in there and you're not having to click on anything, you're just checking your own back office out there, and you're educating people to do the same, you'll turn it into a very nice steady income. And because of that, it will attract more advertisers as well. So the company will attract more advertisers when they can show them the stats and the history on how many people and the average time someone spends in the site. Valerie, it's not necessarily a recommendation from NLA, it's a recommendation from anybody in the system that can give you a recommendation. It's a requirement for you to be paid. That's all. So that you know, that they just want the whole thing out there for people to actually be recommended, so that there's you know, somebody has recommended somebody. It just gives them the stats on certain things. It's only, you've only got to do one. So, but it's just a requirement from the people at WebTalk. Ria is totally confused. I'm not sure what you're totally confused on. I've been married for over 50 years, so I'm really totally confused. Yeah, Gary's just reconfirming what I've just said, that WebTalk will help to promote and build NLA and its coin value. That's really where we're coming from. You know, we need exposure on what we're doing. If we get into a marketplace where they're going to be talking in the tens of millions of people in this marketplace, it's where we want to be. I'm looking at another one now, but I'm not going to go into details on it now, but it's going to be in the same category of having tens of millions of members out there, and we can be part of it at no cost. And but I'm not going to confuse people with that. They've been working on it now for some time, so it's getting ready to be available. Daryl said, I have 2 email addresses due to 2 separate businesses for marketing and branding reasons. My question is, may I have 2 separate profiles and referral links? It could be that we can do a personal and a business in there, but in each case, what you've got to do is that they're going to be putting a debit card in there. So in each case, you're going to have to do a KYC. So if you do a business KYC, but I don't know if you'll be able to do KYC on two different accounts because of getting the cards. So that might be something, Daryl, that's worthwhile sending into their support. I haven't even looked to see if they've got a support up and running yet, but that could be something that we may ask, because we will be, I should imagine, to be able to do a business listing in there as well. So that could be something that we look at out there. But once again, that each account is going to need to be KYC'd if you are going to be receiving income from it, so you can draw it out. Remember, when is the fiscal year for next South Africa? We really haven't set ours. It's usually it's in the financial year from running from July to June out there. I'm not sure if that's what you're talking about there. All right, so your income structure is handled individually on there, because remember this, we don't actually handle money in next South Africa. It's all done by the coins, and then the coin value when it comes out, it's managed from there. Petrus, one, my coin exchange was verified. I'm aware of that. I'm reading on this that I want to transfer from my bank, doing a bank-wide coin exchange. That should still be available once the exchange is up. You can transfer money into it because people have, and so that should be up. But once again, the site's got to be up. Yeah, look, the address is on there on Coin Exchange, because we are married in with GX, so Global Exchange and Coin Exchange, they're running off the same accounts. So you'll find that you will have, because initially when we started it up out there, the whole thing was started by my development team, and Raymond he is the head of the development team. So we've had that. So a lot of things are changing in there that the banks are putting in their contact details, because officially it's just still in beta really at the moment. They haven't fully launched the thing out there. So you will see a lot of that. Look, there's probably been, to my knowledge, there's probably been over, well, I personally put 120,000 in when we started, so there's at least that. So there's probably been, look, I don't know, maybe $750,000 been put in there on purchasing coins, so it certainly is working all right. A lot of congratulations going in there for Angelina. I think she deserves it. She certainly is a very special lady that we have in our community. All the connections in there, but you're asking quite a bit on the depositing funds in there. All the banking coordinates is correct in the exchange. You need to fill that out first and then transfer the money from your bank, and then they will manage it from there when it comes in. But that's all correct, and I've had a number of people sending funds over there, so it's certainly there. Philip's asking about a new Skype room. This is one of the reasons we're going into the web talk, because we want to try and eliminate the Skype rooms that we've got, because we're having to deal with stretching our resources, and once we really start to go live out there with what we're doing, we're going to need more and more Skype rooms if we run that road. So we want to try and eliminate Skype rooms out there. We'll run them because we've got them there at the moment, but we're not trying to increase our Skype rooms. We'll need one of the admin stationed in every Skype room. Really confused on all the talk about web talk. Look, all I'm getting at is that there's quite a few videos. If you want to look up the videos on it, there's a video actually in the link. When you join, there's a video in that. You can have a look at that as well. So there's quite a bit of information about it. It's been something they've been working on for 8 years. So there's, once again, quite a few videos out there. The company made videos, members have made videos, so there's quite a bit about it, and it's probably better to do that. You'll get a bit of an understanding on it. Charis there is saying that, is this what we need? What you've actually sent through there, I think it's Chuck that sent that, is your landing page. That what you've sent there is your profile link. If you look in there, you'll see where it says actually landing page. John's asking about line 6. Line 6 is loaded. We're just checking a few technical things that have gone wrong with line 6. And when I get momentum going with South Africa, which that's our team over there to look after it, someone steals the electrical cables, which throws us out a bit. So they're back online with that now. But line 6 is definitely in there. Anyone that's on line 6 be able to log into their account. James is asking, will we see the CEX, when the CEX goes up, will the coins go up? There's two reasons the coins will go up. The bank have got another load of money to put into the asset account, and we've got $3.27 billion that will go in there from the investors. I'm expecting the coin to see $300 this month. So yes, we will have an increase in the coin. Petrus, what is it? Is it not to be possible to have a normal update on the wallet like what you get, the Windows update? You don't have to keep updating the wallet. If you've got a backup on your wallet, it'll probably last you for a couple of years, that one backup, because that's what it does. It backs up your file. So when you plug it into your new system, it will just collect all the data that's come from it, so you don't have to keep backing it up every week. It'll last for some time, but I'm just telling people to make sure you've got a backup before we start giving instructions on the new wallet. Jackie's asking about are we looking at, she's mentioning about a company called Pillar that are developing a handheld payment device. Look, we do look at quite a number of things, and the bank behind the debit card that we have going into the system. So the bank look after a lot of that for us and recommend to us what's suitable to use for them, so that they can link in. Because remember, our exchange is a global exchange, and there are a lot of exchanges you're limited to what you can do in them. There's American exchanges we can't even sell coin and have Coinbase out there. So our exchange is going to be universal, that we can deposit and withdraw. So there is the type of system that's used in there will be something that can be universally used. Members asking about the coin value, and the coin value will go up. You'll see once they settle down and get the CX sorted out, the coin value will most definitely go up. Valerie's asking about, haven't seen the link for web talk yet, but can a person have more than one link? Well, you really don't want more than one link. You just want to join it and then build your business from that. You're not going to be building it from 2 links. Margaret, we haven't completed sending out the bonus accounts because they're not completed yet. We've just got a couple of issues. We've had a couple of people that have supplied incorrect emails, so we're just checking on those now. So we've got about 10 more to put in. Once they go in there, then we'll be sending it off to the members to let them know that it's all up and running for them. But no one will miss out on those bonus accounts. Tim's asking how much you can put on the debit cards. Well, look, they haven't set a figure on that at all, but I should imagine that it'll be unlimited on what you can put onto the card, but then it comes down to what you can draw per day. So we'll have a look at all of that once we get there. Look, I think we've covered all the questions there, and we've hit the top of the hour. So I'm going to hand this back over to Angelina. I do want to thank everybody for turning up, and I hope the information has certainly put you in a comfort zone with where we're going. It's a slow process, but we are most definitely getting there. And as I said, this web talk is just another way that we can market the NLA system, because even when they talk about their income, a lot of the people through web talk, there'll be nobody that will be able to boast a bigger income than the members from next level Africa. So we will get attention in there. All right, everybody, thanks again for turning up, and I'll hand this back over to Angelina to close up. Angelina and the crows. Okay then, bye everybody.
Sorry about that. I was waiting for Noel to hand the mic back over again. Thank you so much, everyone, for your support and for your congrats and that. I certainly appreciate working with my admin team, Karen and Julie, and of course, Noel. He's just someone fantastic to work with and to learn from and to carry on a vision with. I appreciate everyone coming out today. Thank you for your questions, and watch the rooms for further updates, and we'll have the recording for the webinar out within 24 to 48 hours. Thank you, everyone. Have a good day wherever you are. Bye for now.